Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to our live webinar of eIMMIGRATION. My name is Vanessa. On behalf of Serenade, thank you for joining us today. So today we're going to present to you how to efficiently gather your client's info using our system and custom intake forms and other tools. All right, so let's begin. For those that are new, and this is the first time that you join a live webinar, please know that we are recording the session and we keep the videos available in our YouTube channel. Also, please know that I am sharing this PowerPoint presentation with you. If you want to download it, just locate the handouts option and you can download it. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is the difference between the client and the case profile. If you are not a new user, if you've been using eIMMIGRATION, then you're probably familiar with the difference between the client and the case profile. But it's important that you understand that because when you are creating a questionnaire, you're going to need to, locate where in the system is this field that I'm trying to connect or map. Okay, so obviously there are going to be custom fields that you need to create for additional questions that you want to ask. And we're going to show you today how to connect those or map the fields to the forms. Okay, let's see how many of you are new users. Give me 1 second. Oh, you know what? I don't actually have that in my polls, but I'll just skip. I assume that you're probably not new because this is more like an advanced training. But if this is like I said, the first time that you're joining us, we are recording the session and we're going to have a Q&A. Okay, so I'm going to also show you how to send those questionnaires and obviously how to receive how the data populates the forms. And if you don't want to necessarily like send the questionnaire electronically to your clients or prospects, you can use the alternate view. Sometimes the clients are not tech savvy and you rather just open the questionnaire, right? Enter the data, save it, and then that information will transfer to the forms. So we're going to learn how to use the alternate view. And like I said, after we cover that, I'm going to go over the resources and support. We're going to have a Q&A so you guys can ask specific questions. Technically, right now, throughout the training, you can ask me any questions and I'll keep an eye on the chat. And I cannot unmute you, but I can respond to your question. All right, so let me log in into my caseworker portal. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Alrighty, well, the first thing we're gonna cover, just so that it's clear, what is the difference between a client and a case profile? You'll be surprised, we have clients that probably created a case when it was technically not a case, it was just a prospect. And so it's important that you understand the difference. When you click on the top left to create a client or contact, it could be a prospect. It doesn't necessarily have to have a matter or a process attached to it, although it could be a matter or process called consultation, right? And again, we're gonna show you how to send them. Let's open one. How to send them a questionnaire that you can customize. Trust me, if you guys are still using a Word document or a PDF to send it to your clients via email, or you're printing it, and I mean, I get it if they don't have a computer or they're not tech savvy, it's understandable. But the best approach is, instead of you typing on a Word document, what you're going to do is type in Serenade's technology, so that it stays in the database, and then again it populates the forms, and or you can run reports based on that data as well. Okay, so this is a contact or client profile. You can tell on the left how it says home. So from the home screen, I went to client's profile and I'm in the general info section. So this is very important. Look at the top left. You'll understand later why I'm pointing you to pay attention to this specifically, because when you are creating a questionnaire and you need to connect a question or map it, it's going to ask you where is, for example, where is the first name field? Well, it's under the general info. So that's why it's important to understand, okay, if I click on addresses, obviously it's going to change to current addresses. Anyway, so this is the contact profile. If I take you now on the right-hand side and click on cases, this person, Valeria Marie, she has multiple cases or services. So I can see that we've done an adjustment of status, asylum. So I can click on the link and it will open the actual case profile. Look at the on the top left. I always joke and say this is my GPS because it tells me where exactly I'm in the system. Also, helps us when you call us for support and you say I need help. We need to know what's going on because we're not looking at your screen. So you can tell us I'm at the case profile under general info section or basic information or so it's important that you understand the difference. Number two, let's click on the name of the client. Okay, as I said, these are like standard fields that obviously are basic, first name, last name, phone, social. Okay, but what if you want to create additional questions like, what is your full name in native alphabet? Is this the first time that you're here? How did you hear about us? So questions that you want to include in an intake form when you first encounter a prospect. Obviously, again, you can create as many custom fields, but the benefit also is that I want to connect them to the actual government form, such as the DS-160 or the DS-260, or, like any form that has additional questions that are not populating because we don't have it in the standard or system fields. Then you can also create your own questions or custom fields and connect them or map them to the forms. Okay, so we're going to show you how to create these custom fields. Anything that has to do with customizations, you have to log in as an administrator. So if you are here and you don't have access, just talk to your admin, let them know, hey, it's important that we maximize the investment and give me access to the admin so I can work on this. It's on the right hand side. If you click on the settings icon, you should see administrative tools. In fact, I like to recommend to right click on it and open in a new tab. I like to keep my admin portal available. And so that way I can multitask and go back and forth. Again, especially if you have two monitors that you work with, that's ideal that you have one here and then open maybe the Word document that you had created in the past for these questionnaires. So that way you can copy paste from one monitor to the other. That's my personal suggestion. um, Now, let me show you in the admin portal what you're going to do to create the custom fields. I want to quickly remind you that I am recording the training. Please understand that I cannot go at a slower pace because I have to cover a lot of material. But I'm recording it, and if you have questions, let me know. You can chat me. All right. So again, I'm in the admin. I'm gonna click on Client Custom Fields. And this is where you can create your custom fields. Now, not just create them, but organize them under categories or views. It's very important that you do that, or even like if you click on System Client Custom Fields on the right-hand side, you can even put them under the General Info section. So let me explain what I'm talking about. Let me take you back to the caseworker portal. Remember how I told you that under custom fields, you have no, I didn't tell you that. Just kidding. I was I was showing you this under the general info. I was showing you the system standard fields, and I scrolled down. This is what I was showing you earlier, custom fields. So if you want to include some of your custom fields here under this section, under the general info page, that's what I'm talking about, right? So you can pick and choose which ones are important enough to be here on the first page instead of clicking on the right hand side where it says custom fields. Now, if you go to custom fields, you'll see that we have a drop-down menu that says view. So you can separate your custom fields by different views, such as immigration, personal injury, contract, or like funding. So you can have different views, and within a view, such as let's say marketing, I have different categories. My category will be best way to contact you, or preferred language, or so you have different categories, and within those, let's take a look at a different view. Immigration clients only. So my category would be TPS, and within that category, we have a custom field that's asking, have you used other, or do you have any other dates of birth that you've ever used, or what's the name of the country for the TPS. So these are examples of custom fields that I am grouping under a category, and then the different categories are grouped under a specific view. Okay, so let's go back to the admin. Um, you're going to click on Add Client Custom Field if it's for the individual client or business client or both. The name of the field is more technical. It cannot contain spaces, so you can do something like last underscore arrival underscore date, right? Or all together, as long as you don't have a space or a special character. The title could be obviously the actual question, when did you arrive in the US, or so you can type the question as normal. And obviously the type of field, what is it that you're asking? I'm asking for a date or a text. This, by the way, is limited. So think of like a name, or, but if you want them to explain something like the reason why you're seeking asylum, or then don't select text. You need to select text area. Boolean is a little square like this one. This is a Boolean field. Let me show you an example. My Boolean examples are here. So my category was best way to contact you, and I created a custom field just like phone, another one text message or email. So you can create these Booleans, you can create drop-down menus, you can create a date field like this, date of service, okay, numbers and text. It's important that your custom field matches the question that you're trying to include in a questionnaire. For example, if my question is like a radio button, then I need to select a drop-down menu or a drop-down list. So make sure that you match the same. If it's text, do not select numeric value, right? All right, so create the custom fields. You're gonna have them here, and be specific with the name of the field. Trust me, do not use like codes, because later you're gonna get confused when you're trying to connect or map. And then, so that would be the fields, and then the categories, again, you create different, let me refresh, what's going on? Oh, I'm in the wrong section. Excuse me. Okay, client custom fields categories. So you're going to add the category, and then within the category, you're going to add your custom fields. And then, of course, your views, you can create the actual view, and within that view, you're going to add your custom fields from that category. Okay, so it's a lot easier to group them like that. And like I said, if you want to include these custom fields under the general info page, just go to general info and add them. So if I want to have these questions available under the general information page, then that's how you include them under the general info page. Okay. And let me know if you guys have any questions at this point. I am going to show you how to map these fields to the forms. So remember I told you that some of these questions, like, what is your name in native alphabet, or like full name in native alphabet, it wasn't a typical question that other forms would include, but I wanted to connect this so that it populates the form, the DS-160, for example. So what you need to do is go to the admin once you create your custom fields, of course, then click on File, Form, Custom Data Population. Now I know that this video is being recorded, or this training is being recorded. You can always watch the video later, but if you are also taking notes, I suggest that you write down like this, form, just write down form, custom data population. Later you can watch the specific, tutorial video that we have for that. It's under the user's guide. All right, so we're going to add the form for us to customize it, 160. I'm gonna find it and select it. It's been mapped, so let me unmap it so I can show you how to map it. Okay, let me delete this. All right, so when you first open the form, You're going to click on the field that you want to map, and you're going to click on this icon, Set Custom Data Population for Selected Field. And I am going to select Client Custom Field. Look for the field. This is why I told you to be specific and do not use something like, very vague. Be specific like this, full name, it's, no miss. And the form region belongs to the alien, not the spouse or the parents. I'm going to click OK. That's it. There's no save button. You'll notice that it turns red because it's been mapped. And if you are trying to link or connect a field that's been already mapped, then it's going to give you this message like this. So are you sure? I mean, you don't want to do that because we have already customized that field to link it to the name or the surnames. All right. So just, unless of course you want to create your custom field for first name and last name, which doesn't make any sense, but you could overwrite that. But I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna close this and that's it. Also, pay attention to this. If there is a new version of that form that you've mapped, you need to remap it. That's the disadvantage, and you would have to map under the new version of the form. Now, let's talk about how to create your custom intake forms. Let me know again if you have any questions at this point. Let's see if I have a question for you. No. Okay. All right. So let's continue. For creating a custom intake form, you need to, again, log in as an admin. Once you're in the administrative portal, click here, Custom Form Templates. And you're going to click on Intake Forms. Now, select System. And the reason why I'm suggesting that you use what's already created so that you don't have to start from scratch. If you can utilize any of these questionnaires that are already in the system, then just modify them instead of creating one from zero, which you could under custom intake forms. Anything that you have already customized will be here. So you can make a copy of that custom questionnaire, or you can edit or delete. Okay. So I'm going to show you what's in the system already. The system intake forms are these. Now, also another important observation is any questionnaire that you see under background, like 580, 589, 821, all these background questionnaires, if you want them to be available in different languages, we suggest that you make a copy, like for example, N400. I'm going to make a copy of that questionnaire. Yeah, probably I don't want to call it background, but I'm just going to keep it as N400 naturalization questionnaire. And I would like to, let me just put my initial so I know this is mine. I would like to modify the instructions, or I would like to add information, maybe the repeated sections that I want to include, such as, not just answer these background questions, but give me the previous addresses history, marriage history, employment history. So I can combine these questionnaires instead of sending them separately. I can combine them into this naturalization questionnaire by just clicking here. Other names, previous addresses, marriage history. So as you see, once I click on the repeated section, it adds to that. You could make modifications. For example, employment history, I'm going to put here, we only need the last 5 years. And how about, I really don't care for the fax number, so let me do, remove that question. Or I would like to specify, like, different, you can edit, delete, you can rearrange, etc. Now, notice that this is a repeated section. Keep an eye on this, because if you are adding custom field, it will not be able to map because you're adding it within the repeated section. So my suggestion is that you add after the repeated section. And the layout is for you to add a header, a description, lines, and this is new. Now you can add a submit button at the bottom. Do not add more than one. Obviously, well, I say obviously, but it might not be as obvious to other people. So let me explain why. If you add more than one submit button, and let's say they complete half of the questionnaire and you include a submit button in the middle, for example, for the repeated section, employment history. When they click submit and they don't have the rest of the questionnaire, they don't get like a warning, are you sure you want to submit? It's gone. So that's why I suggest that you just add one and create that all the way at the bottom. Okay, this is new. Let me preview. Well, before I preview, one more thing. Under the options, you can also add your logo. If you haven't yet uploaded your logo, just go to your admin portal at the all the way at the bottom. You should see application settings and then click on branding. You need to have a logo that's 300 by 70 pixels in GIF format only. That way your logo can be included in a questionnaire like this. Okay. Let me scroll down so that you guys can see the submit button right here. Okay. Now the submit button won't show under the alternate view because you're not technically submitting. So it's going to be invisible. All right. So let me just also add numbers to my questions. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions at this point. Again, if you are joining us now, we are in the middle of creating a custom intake form, and I am showing you how to copy an existing questionnaire and make corrections or changes. And let me also show you how to create one of those custom fields or like custom, you know, questions. I would like to add, for example, a yes or no question. But once I click on that, it adds the question all the way at the bottom. If you change the number here, let me just say number 5, I'll just call it test for now. And so I'm gonna change this right now. But what I'm trying to show you is that if I change the number, instead of 142, if I change it to 5 and I click save, it will direct or redirect, relocate that over here under number 5. So now let me click on the pencil to modify. It's not a test, but my question is going to be, is this the first time you contact us? Obviously, this is going to be a question for a different questionnaire, like an initial intake form, but I want to show you the follow-up questions. When they say, yes, this is the first time that I contact you or that I come here, my follow-up question will be, how did you hear about this law firm? How did you hear about us? So I can track their answers with a custom report and use the system as a CRM. If the answer is no, this is not the first time that I'm here, do you have an existing, or do you have a case number or a file number? And that's it. Once I'm done, I'm going to click save. I could also do a yes, no, or NA and save. Now, let me show you what happens when you create a question. It's not just typing it. If you notice, the second step will be mapping it. What does mapping mean? Mapping means connecting. I can have a question, and yeah, the client can type, but once I get the questionnaire, where am I going to store or save that information? Imagine that you have a bucket where you dump all the, all the data. That's the way I see it. Where is the bucket or where is the field? Well, this is why I was telling you earlier that it's important that you understand where in the system am I connecting this question to. Is it under the case profile? Is it under the contact or client profile? What section? If we go back to that and my question is this a person that you contact us? It is not in the system. I made that up. So I am going to click the category would be a client custom field, something that I created. In my custom field would be, first time here. That's my custom field. See how I named it a underscore time underscore. So it's easier for me to identify that. When they say Yes, this is the first time that I'm here. But the follow-up question, how did you hear about this law firm? See that I don't have to click again, client custom field. I just need to locate the custom field that I created, which is the source. What's the lead source or prospect? And the last question, no, this is not the first time that I'm here. Well, then do you have a case number? Let me search for case number. Also notice that the last column says required. You can make these questions required. So the client or, well, the client cannot move forward if they don't answer the question. Lastly, the translations. I was telling you earlier that these background questionnaires do not have the translation available, and that's the importance of making a copy. So by copying the questionnaire and having your own version, you can enable the translations and you choose which languages. So I'm gonna pick Spanish and oh no, I did something. I think this is a bug that Okay, I need to report that. If that ever happens to you, I'm glad that it happened to me right now so that you guys can understand that is a bug. So you need to please go to feedback or technical support and let us know that we've got a bug or I was trying to do this and this would, it happened so that our developers can fix it. And I will report that after today's webinar. But let me do it one more time. I'm going to click on System, Copy. Let's go to translations. All right, so I clicked enabled, and then I'm gonna click on the language. So let's do Spanish, French, and I don't know, Korean. So you pick the languages that you want to include, and then it's important that you click here review because the artificial intelligence feature it's translating, but you have to make sure that everything looks fine. And at the bottom, you just submit. And as much as I would like to speak French or Korean, all I understand is Spanish and English. So let's just go at the bottom, click submit. And then last one, review. I hit on my keyboard, I hit the key end. So it goes all the way at the bottom and I'll just submit. Okay, so I'm gonna preview my questionnaire. I notice that I don't have a logo and I wanna add a logo. So I go back to fields, I go back to options and I add my logo or I number my questions. So let's preview it again. Or you know what? I forgot that, we can add a submit button. All right, so let me just add that and preview. So that's how it works. But anytime that you add something to the questionnaire, in this case, even if it's the submit button, because we need to translate that, you have to go back to translations and then approve or submit. All right, so we're done and we're gonna click save. Save and close because I don't need to do anything else or save and continue editing. Trust me, it's important that you save and continue so that you prevent what happened to me earlier. I lost my custom field. All right, any questions on how to create a questionnaire, please let me know, okay? Actually, let me ask if you guys have any questions at this point. And I know it can be overwhelming at first, but trust me, I think it's worse to keep doing or sending clients a Word document when you have the technology to gather the data and then transfer it to the forms and file the form online. So I think that's more time consuming. All right, let me just close this. Thank you so much for those who voted. Let's hide this and continue. All right, so I am going to show you how to send and receive those questionnaires, or if you don't want to necessarily send them, but you want to utilize them on, complete the questionnaire on behalf of a client. I'm going to show you how to use the alternate view. So number one, if you have the contact profile, you just locate that over here, clients and contacts, or you can search for it right here. Let me do it here. I'll just type Francisco. And I can either search for the contact or the case or the contact. You're going to click on that profile. And if you have the SMS feature, you could send them the questionnaires via text message. So you can just add the cell phone or if they have an email address, either or. Now, if this is, well, let's say this is a prospect. Um, on the right-hand side of the menu, you're going to see client access. If this is the first time that you're creating the access for your client or prospect, you're going to see it like this. The login name, which you can change, the password, which I recommend that you keep it as simple as 1234, or you could also generate the password automatically too. And you can set an expiration date or leave it blank so that it never expires. Then click create. Now, do I need to send the credentials to Francisco? Probably not, because he's not going to log in into the client portal. But if I need him to review a form or upload a document or pay an invoice, anything like that, even though you could also send a link via text message or via email, it might be better for you to just share the username and password. All right, so I'm not going to click email credentials, but if you do send the credentials, I want you to know that there is the letter templates option so that you don't have to just send, a default message. You could create your own template. I have an example where I send that in Spanish, and I also like the fact that it transfers the name so it's more personal. And you can create your letter templates for this and any other reason, like a cover letter or any other email. But that's, what I prefer to utilize my own templates instead of the default one. So I ended up sending the credentials anyways, but see how the system tells me on the top, the email was sent successfully. Okay. Once you create the access, you'll notice that these access details are enabled. So this is where you can, for example, allow them to send you a text message or other, depending on what you have. But today I'm not going to talk about billing or reports, but this is important that you understand how to enable the access. Okay, so, oh, you know what? That cell phone is already taken. How come? All right, I hope that one's not taken. Okay, let's say that I want Francisco to complete that questionnaire that I just created. I'm going to click on create questionnaire and I'm going to say send it to Francisco. Unless, of course, you want to print it. If you want to print the questionnaire, go ahead and click print and view. You're going to open the questionnaire, for example, this personal injury intake, and I want to translate to Spanish just to give you an idea. So I could click on the print icon, on the printer icon, and I'll give them the paper. But today I'm not gonna do that. I'd rather send it to Francisco since he's tech savvy. I'm gonna click questionnaire, create questionnaire, and send it to Francisco. Now your two options are, do I send him the questionnaire via the client portal? So he has to log in with that username and password, or do I send him the questionnaires or intake forms via a passwordless link? As the name says, it doesn't require a password. He can just click confirm identity for security reasons and access the questionnaire, which is what I'm going to do. What's Francisco's preferred language? It's Spanish. And what process is he for? Well, maybe consultation, or uh, we know that he's here for asylum. So again, you can customize your questionnaires based on the type of process or matter. And that's something that you would have to do under the administrative portal. Okay, just go to case processes and locate the process and link the questionnaires. Now remember, you can utilize the ones we have, but keep in mind, these are probably not available in Spanish. So you have to make a copy of that questionnaire and then I think I did this one, like full questionnaire. I'm going to use that one. You could preview it too. If you click on that pencil, you can see, okay, how would it look like if I send it in Spanish with my logo and everything that I, need to ask. So let's close that and select, and I'm gonna send it. Um, well, in this situation, I was not linked to the client. So yes, I want to link myself so that whenever he or I send a text message, I'm the one who gets the text message back. Uh, quick question. Someone's asking, is there the ability to have logos appear on the questionnaire? Yes, I just explained that, but let me go over it really quick. Go to your admin, click on application settings, click on branding on the right hand side, and then make sure you upload your logo. Otherwise, then no. You need to upload your logo and make sure the logo is 300 by 70 pixels in GIF format only. Once you do that and you have the logo in the system, then yes, once you create a questionnaire, click on custom form templates, intake forms. I'm gonna utilize one that I have, the custom intake form, and I'm gonna click edit. Under options, it's right here, add logo. So make sure this box is checked. Let me preview this questionnaire. The logo is right here. So yes, if you don't see your logo and maybe it's a system questionnaire, just make a copy of it. So go to system, open the questionnaire that you want, click on copy, and then make it your own. All right, so let's go back. Now that I chose which questionnaire I need to send to Francisco, he prefers Spanish, so whenever he gets a text message or email, or I can even send it via WhatsApp, I want the message to be in Spanish. So technically, I'm sending him a link. And how am I sharing the link? Via text message, and that's only if you have the module in your package, via email, or again, you copy the link and paste it in your WhatsApp web window if you have it open. I'm going to utilize the send SMS, and I don't want to show my name here. So I'm going to click at the bottom, do not include my name, and it's just from the Law Office of Serenade. I also don't want to utilize the English version. I'm going to say favor de completar este cuestionario a la brevedad. And of course, every time that I do either a training or a webinar, I just can't type. Okay, so do not mess with the link. You have up to 1,000 characters. And yeah, that's it. Just click send. And then, uh, and once you send that, you can also set up a reminder. I want this person to receive an email or text message or both once a day, every 3 days, or once a week. Again, I'll say send an email and the text message, or maybe just send the text message reminder and stop sending the reminders after the 12th of next month. So if they don't respond to the questionnaire after that, no more reminders, and save and close again. Now, sometimes, I mean, it happens to me. I don't know. It probably happens to you too because you guys have a lot more to deal with. But like, did I send this questionnaire to this person, or which questionnaires is he dealing with? Just go to their contact profile, click on documents, and then click on questionnaires and forms. So you can see which questionnaires he has completed and which questionnaires we are waiting for. So I sent it or created, but he hasn't yet submitted the questionnaire. Now let's take a look and see what happens when he logs in or clicks on the link. I'm gonna enter his credentials. Or you know what? We need to change the password. This is also good that it's happening now so that you guys can see what happens when you send it to the prospects for the first time. For security reasons, that's the reason why I was telling you, just enter 1234, because imagine when they copy paste, sometimes they grab an extra space and it's annoying because you're going to get an error message. So just by doing 1234, saves them time, and trust me, it's going to save you time by not having them call you or ask you what's going on with my password. All right, so I'll just do 4567. How about that? And then save. All right, so no thanks. Here we go. I am logging in as a client into the client portal. You'll notice that here's a questionnaire. He's going to open it. Now, if you send it as a passwordless link, they don't have to log in. It's just confirming their identity, that they get a code, they enter the code and proceed to complete the questionnaire. I love the fact that clients can see the data that we have in the system, so they don't have to start from scratch. Um, I'm going to enter like a fake, address and answer a couple of these questions. Have you ever any felony? Let me just say, it doesn't give me the option to explain. It's not like the asylum, right? Like TPS. Excuse my ignorance, but it's not. I thought it would have like a text field. Anyway, so I'm going to respond. Let me just say test. And when the client is ready, he's going to click save. I'm sorry, if the client is not ready to send it back, he's going to click save. So the form has been saved successfully in the server, but it's not going to close because they probably have to go and check what's the passport number, come back, or so let them know to save it so that for any reason they leave it unattended, they don't lose the data. They could also print a copy before they submit, because once they click submit, it's gone. So it's going to tell them, yep, the form was successfully submitted. Click OK, and that's it. They cannot mess with it unless you give them permission again, which is what I love about our technology, because clients cannot mess with the data. If, imagine if you don't have any clue and they're messing with the information, they're going to change the form, which actually happens with a competitor. I'm not going to say names. Okay, so on the top right, if I click on this icon, which if you see it has an indicator, I have 10 items, or the envelope on the left, I have 25 because it's 10 questionnaires and 15 messages. So either or, but you need to go to your mailbox. Otherwise, this questionnaire is in the limbo. He doesn't have it, I don't have it, unless I accept it. But I don't recommend that you accept blindly. Like, you need to open the questionnaire and review it. And I love the fact that, give me one second. I love the fact that it highlights in pink or red the items that were modified. So if you click on that, it will tell you what's the original value, or what's the field, what's the information that we have in the system, or we had. There was nothing there, so that's why it's blank. So you could compare, right? You're gonna click, I think I answered a couple of these. So you're gonna click save or accept, or you can reject it and send it back. I will accept. Once you accept, you override and accept the information. So you transfer the information into his profile, and eventually it will transfer to the N400. So if I look at the address information, it's right here. Okay. If I look at the background check information under the N400, we're going to see the questions that he answered. Some of these were like, it should be no. Oh, this is a painful form. Wait a minute. Didn't I answer it? Um, okay, something's going on. So I did accept it, but let's take a look. Documents, questionnaires. Now you should see a submitted and accepted on. But let me, oh, duh, it wasn't the N400. I'm so sorry. It was the A21. Someone please assist me. Let's see. General. No wonder the N400 is blank. Duh. A21. Here we go. All right, here they are. I was like so scared. Like, what did I do? What happens when we reject it? Someone's asking, do they receive an email indicating such? Yes. And probably a slap in the hand. I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, let me do that with a questionnaire. let's say Francois. I'm going to say, okay, I noticed that he probably forgot to complete the questionnaire, so I'm not going to accept it, but I click here, reject or send back. So you could send it again via the client portal or via the passwordless link, and then click send email. So yes, you can let them know. In fact, again, I recommend that you create a letter template that says rejecting a form or rejecting a questionnaire, so you don't have to type the same explanation or instructions. Like, for example, let's say this one says, I'm sending the questionnaire back to you. It has my logo, it has today's date, it populates with Francois' name, it's in Spanish. So anyway, so you can create, if you're taking notes, write down letter templates and also write down tag helper right here. Uh, Tag helper. This is a must if you want to save time. So if you want the letter template to populate the name and the you know, date, or so you just search for the tag. Alrighty, well, that's how it works when you reject it, and the client will see the questionnaire again in the client portal to continue working on it. They don't lose the data, okay? They'll just continue. And lastly, I would like to show you the alternate view. All right, so let's close this and this. What is the alternate view? If you open any of these questionnaires, let's say Francisco's, on the right-hand side, you're going to click on alternate view. Let's say that I have Francisco in front of me or on the phone, and I simply just want to ask him these questions. Francisco, is this the first time you contact us? No. Do you have a case number? Here we go. Francisco, what's your, well, date of birth, or like, I already have that, country of birth, or so I can enter the information myself. Phone number, and save it. Make sure that you save and that you wait, because sometimes if your internet connection is slow and you don't see that green bar, it usually has like a little tiny thin blue line across that goes all the way. So once it goes through the whole screen, then you're gonna see the blue bar that says the form was saved successfully in the server. The reason why I'm telling you this is because, and actually it has happened to me, because I'm like in a rush and I close it and then I realize I lost the data. Also, make sure you save it before you switch to a different questionnaire. Okay, so like this one, spouse's information, I'm gonna enter that, or relatives information. This is very common when you guys use the questionnaire for relatives and you add in this example, his mother, the name is Maria. So I'm gonna fix it here, Maria, and the mother's date of birth. And I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna add another relative. Let's say Francisco's daughter, her name is Marisol, and what's Francisco's last name? Roman Ramirez. Okay. Anyway, so his daughter is Marisol, and this is the date of birth for the daughter. And I'm going to click save. This is what's going to happen when you guys use a relatives questionnaire via the alternate view. When you click save, we create an account for the daughter automatically. Let's take a look. This is Francisco's account. If I go to members, look, Marisol has been linked to his profile. So if I needed Marisol's information, like send Francisco questionnaire for the daughter's info, then it will be stored here. I don't have to click link member and link her again. And notice that the mother's information has been also updated. Anyway, so that's the alternate view. What else I wanted to show you besides that? But yeah, I think that's it. Like, just do not switch if you haven't saved the data. Also, you cannot translate via alternate view. If you want to print it in Spanish or other language, you have to go through the create questionnaire and then click print. And also, if you want the client to review information, so for example, I want to show him the initial intake form that I have, and I want to print it so he sees what I've captured, then that's great. You do it through the alternate view. Oops. Another thing that you should know is that anytime that you mess with the alternate view, there's a record, there's evidence. So if your paralegal open the alternate view and they delete something or they make a mess, you can always look at the documents alternate view, and then there's always a record. Like you use the relatives questionnaire on the 26th and you open it and it's right there. So anything in red, it means that it was modified, or not necessarily modified, but you created that information and it has a date. Alrighty, let's go over the resources and support options that you guys have, um, because you will have questions when you start creating your questionnaires, or if you're new. I always encourage new users to please contact us when they have questions. Well, how do you contact Serenade for support? And what resources do you have? You can call us Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 Pacific Standard Time, except on holidays. That's our phone number. You can email us 24/7. That's our email address, or just simply support@serenade.com. You could also click on the home screen option on the top right where it says technical support. And like I said, please send your feedback or send your questions so that if you find something odd or what happened to me, it's a bug. So please report that. You also have a user's guide. So if I click on the link, that's why I told you to download my PowerPoint presentation. This is a user's guide. I suggest that you bookmark it and you can search key words like letter templates, and we show you how to create a template step by step with instructions, or you could also watch a quick tutorial video. All right, so you have these resources available. Let's continue. We have these free live trainings on Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, except on holidays. We have a podcast. We have a Facebook forum page. If you haven't joined, click to join. This is a must, I think, because if you want to interact with other attorneys that are using the system, you probably learn from each other. So this is a good way. And there is the YouTube channel. If you haven't yet subscribed, do me a favor and do so, because we want to reach, how many we have? We're almost there. So let's reach for 2,000 subscribers. Okay, so did you know these are some of the fields that you, or features that you're probably not aware of? So please, my son's banging at the door, so please excuse me. So please click on the link to access or learn more. For example, how do I e-file a form? How can I import data from the CBP website, etc. And these are the upcoming trainings for the month of February. So click to register. And if you can't register, at least you can watch the video in our YouTube channel. So please connect with us. We want to help you understand the system and get more comfortable using it. And again, we appreciate your time and thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions, you can let me know. Don't forget to download the PowerPoint before you disconnect and complete the survey, please. And have a great weekend. Thank you so much. So there's a question. Oh, you're welcome. I didn't see you when you joined. Good to see you. Where can we find the slides? If you click on the handouts from the Go to Webinar panel, click on handouts. I attached my PowerPoint. You should be able to download it. If you can't, email us so that we can send it to you. You're very welcome. I hope that you guys learned something new today. That's the goal, and that you maximize your investment and utilize the system to its full potential. Thank you so much on behalf of Serenade, and have a great weekend, everyone. So we have a trivia question. I didn't cover this, but it's interesting to see what you think. If a client, um, if I want the client to revise and modify a form, not a questionnaire, I need to send it via client portal? Yes, no, not sure. I'm waiting for the participants who haven't disconnected yet to click and vote. What do you think? If you want the client to modify or go through a form, do you need to send that form via the client portal? All right, so the answer is yes. I'm surprised the minority of you got it right. Only 17%. But let me tell you why. Let's go really quick and show you. I have a case, this adjustment of status, and I'm going to click on forms. I want them to review, that's not the adjustment of status. All right, I want them to review this I-485 form that I completed. Oh, you know what? This is an old case, so that's why I'm showing the old form. Okay, let me use this one. And I want to add a post-it. Please confirm if this is your date of birth or, please confirm date of birth. Anyway, so I would like to send this I-485 form electronically. Yes, I want to save it in the original version. Let me just save, close. I need to give them access to the client portal if I want them to complete the form or review it or modify it. So if you want to send the form as as a read-only PDF, that's fine. You just email it. But if you want the client to modify or edit the form as HTML, you do need to have them log in into the client portal. Okay, so what happens is when they log in, oops, I'm sending it to Valeria. Okay, let's email it. Oh, that's the blue line across the screen. I don't know if you saw it. So if I now log in as Valeria, let me do that really quick. The client is going to click on inbox, or sorry, mailbox, and that's the form. So she's going to open the form for security reasons. She's going to review and make the changes that are necessary. Maybe the date of birth was incorrect, so she's going to change that. But make sure that you copy paste into the profile, because anything they modify on a form, if they overwrite, as you can see, it's turning blue because we're overwriting the form. So it's not going to save into the profile. Once they submit, it's the same process as we saw with the questionnaire. The client is going to send it to you, and you are going to receive it under your mailbox. And let me open it right here, I-485. So I also see in red the modify fields. I can click to compare what was there before. And again, I need to accept it so the form gets updated. But this date of birth is only going to be modified in that particular form. So that's why I said copy paste it. All right, I think that was an interesting trivia because I was able to um, explain that to you. And lastly, have you created your own intake forms? Before you disconnect, let me know. Or if you probably created a custom intake form, but in Word or PDF before you got eIMMIGRATION, that's not that doesn't count. So you need to create it under the admin so that whenever you type or your clients type, that information saves into the system and you don't have to retype it. Oh wow. Okay. So the majority say no. Alrighty. Well, again, on behalf of Serenade, thank you so much for joining and have a great weekend. Let us know if you have any questions, okay? Take care. Bye bye.